Hello everybody, and welcome to the game design pitch for the game Can You Help Me? By myself, Kyle Burke, and my partner, Patrick McFarlane. As a game, Can You Help Me will be solely based on a submersive interactive story. The main focus that will drive this idea will be compelling and interesting interactions the player can make in equally interesting environments. Through these interactions, and also through exploration, the idea is to create a psychological horror experience for the player to progress through. As a hook, environments and elements will shift from pleasantly cute to creepy, with the goal being to put the player at unease, messing with their head throughout the playthrough. The overall start of the game will regard the player as a playtester for an unfinished game. The twist is to have this fourth wall breaking concept to really tie the player into the elements of the game rather than just the avatar. Through this, the game, to be tested so to speak, will break around the player's actions, leading them into seemingly unfinished levels where puzzles must be solved. With all that in mind, the code of the game is essentially possessed by an entity, and the player is tasked with freeing this entity to save the game. This is all in the effort to create an interesting and different type of game that, the hope is, to create something unsettling and disturbing. As the player starts, they won't really know the goal, so they must start exploring. The emphasis on exploration will continue throughout the game. It will be through interacting with the environment that the player will learn what to do and where to go. Enemies will also exist, where interacting with them will perform an attack. There will also be a basic health system and checkpoints to revolve around this combat. As previously mentioned, this will be a slow-burning psychological horror. Questionable and creepy elements will constantly be in play. Tying the player within the story and questionable scenarios will hopefully create an interesting experience for the genre. We want the player to think the game is breaking, but this is done to tie in with puzzles and the genre. Using various methods to provoke strange happenings within the game, the idea is to promote the psychological horror of it all. Mainly the goal overall is to create an interesting and different kind of experience to keep the player wanting for more. Mystery and intrigue. Main focus is to create a sense of mystery to the game as a whole, keeping the player asking the question, what is happening? Also, keeping the player asking, why? Why are there seemingly broken, unfinished aspects of the game that they can interact with, tying in to the mysteries? Contrasting elements cute. To start, design will be focused around pleasant environments for the player to explore. Innocent tasks and puzzles will also be established, giving the player the sense they are on a safe and relaxing adventure. Finally, tying in with the last pillar, contrasting elements creepy, once the safe adventure has been established, creepier and weirder elements will be introduced. This will be in efforts in messing with the player's head and breaking the pleasantness, contrasting that the player is essentially brought out of the light and into darkness, all adhering towards the sense of mystery that is to be established. Our target audience that we anticipate for this game is a young adult to middle-aged, interested in the tech world and keeps up on current software and hardware, interested in many forms of media such as movies, games, social networking, follows GDC talks based on games currently in development such as BlizzCon, and a harsh critic of movies, enjoys the what and why within a movie. Psychological thrillers are amongst their favorite. In closing, the goal is to make Can You Help Me an inherently interesting game different amongst others in the horror genre. Should always remain an interesting experience through the use of all the elements outlined in this document. The mysteries surrounding the game itself are in efforts to keep the player hooked. With the game being as different as it is with its idea, we hope the concept will intrigue many players. Thank you very much for listening to our pitch on Can You Help Me?